The Bible tells us Satan has deceived the whole world. How has he deceived the whole world? Well, obviously, he's deceived it multiple ways. But a major reason he's deceived it is the way the country and the world does business. I want to discuss with you right now how Satan has deceived the whole world in a very major way. What I discuss with you today isn't the only method he has for deceiving the globe, but one what I believe to be the major one, or at least one of the major ones. And what that is Satan knows the only power and authority that he has is getting people and society to break God's laws. God said, if you break my laws and you follow other gods, these blessings will not come upon you. The blessings, we see that through the nation Israel when Solomon ran. In the beginning of Solomon's reign and David's reign, they were following God's rules. They were following his statutes. They were not worshiping other idols. And the climax of that nation was at its peak. People came from all around to see and hear the wisdom of Solomon and the glory of Israel at that time. And shortly afterwards, God kept his promise by saying, hey, I will keep you going. I will keep you safe. I will keep you protected as long as you obey my laws and commandments and as long as you don't worship other idols. Multiple times through the Old Testament, these are the two things that stung different nations. And right now, there is a rule and a law, not right now in Old Testament, there's a rule and a law that tells people use just weights and measures when doing business with each other. And we know what that means. Don't take one of your 10-pound blocks in the old days in your balances and scales and turn it down to an 8-pound block for one reason or another and cheat people. But what I would like to discuss with you today is more of a major scale. What is going on it's not just this country, it's in the world. It is a very major issue. And what that is the way the world does business. Do they use just weights and measures? Are they breaking God's rules and are they breaking his laws? The answer to that in the short is absolutely 100% yes, they are. And how are they doing that on a major scale? We can see that, making again a long story short, the United States deals with dollars. Dollars is, if anyone does the research, is a fiat currency. It's fiat. Now, what does fiat mean? A long story short, it's a Latin word and it comes from let it be done. Remember watching the old 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston? Let it be written, let it be done. That's what fiat means. That's all, the long and the short of it. It means let it be done. In other words, if you're dealing with a currency that is written out on a piece of paper and the king or the Congress or the legislature, whatever you want to call it, states a rule and a law and says this is legal tender. That's like saying let it be done. The rule says, hey, I decided this is legal tender, so let it be done. There doesn't have to be any rhythm or rhyme or reason to why that is legal tender other than what they said, let it be done. So we are dealing with that. And what is the old time currency? It was just weights and measures. It was gold, it was silver, it was barter. Now what makes them not fiat? What makes them not fiat is the fact that they're a commodity. There only either is so much of it or it's something you need, like a commodity. A piece of paper that is stamped and labeled, and a judge or a law or a president or a king who says this is legal tender does not necessarily make that valuable other than the law. If that legal tender is not tied to anything or anchored to something such as a commodity or such as a gold or a silver where there's only so much of it, in the reality of it, the only value it has is the value that they labeled it to have. A cheeseburger, let me get you to understand this better. If you're starving to death and you don't have long left, is $1 million or a cheeseburger going to be more valuable to you? You see what I'm saying? The $1 million is only worth what they said it is. Now, some may say, well, I'll go buy 1 million cheeseburgers. I think you know what I'm saying. A cheeseburger, food, it has true value. Even if mankind and society says it does not, it still does. It can keep you alive. If someone uses silver and gold, they can't make silver and gold as much as they want to. And that is why it is a just weight and a just measure, because they cannot control it. It has value because there's so much of it, and it can be used for bartering or trading. And so can food, so can corn, so can wheat. No matter what you do, it always has to have, or it always has value, even if men say it doesn't. When the rubber hits the road, this may become more clear. And why is this breaking God's rules and laws and commandments? Because the currency that not only the United States is, but the world is dealing with right now is most all fiat currency. The only value is what the law says it has. Which makes what? It only makes a recipe for one thing. Man to be able to control another man's life by valuing anything that they have through something that has absolutely no value at all. Now, if I say there's a small group of people out there that are responsible for this and they've deceived a lot of people, I am telling you exactly how I believe. Oftentimes people will say, here we go, the conspiracy theorist. Yeah, well, maybe you believe what you believe, but my dollar can buy a cheeseburger. Yes, it can. And they can always pull that plug. They couldn't do that otherwise. Thank you for listening. My name is Matt. Keep in touch.